Tesla, the electric vehicle innovator, has announced that it's sending a team to India to select a site for a factory to be built in India, probably a couple $1 billion project. Now, this is interesting in many ways. Number one, I'm not very optimistic about manufacturing electric vehicles in India efficiently and effectively, for the simple reason that there is no supply chain in India. There is very poor infrastructure in India. I've looked at projects in India over the course of my investment days over the last several decades, looked at many cases in India and had serious problems with every single case because of problems of infrastructure, bureaucracy, corruption, and so on and so forth. And also, the business environment is very negative. If you see how they treated foreign companies in India, you'll see what I mean. All kinds of charges, all kinds of fraudulent cases against foreign companies, hundreds of millions of dollars in fine, if not billions. It's not just Chinese companies, but also European and American companies have suffered the same fate. So Elon Musk, we have to say, very good luck to you. If you attempt to do this in India, I think you're going to need it. China has better infrastructure. China has better supply chain. So China has already an extensive spread of charging stations to enhance the utility of the electric vehicles. All of these things India does not have yet and will not likely have in the near future. The other thing which is probably going to be more difficult to address than the hardware, and that's human capital. China has been accelerating over the course of the last several decades its manufacturing capacity and its more advanced manufacturing capacity, requiring human capital, requiring engineers, skilled workers to be trained, to be effective in being able to man these production lines. Unfortunately, I don't think that's available in India. Again, that's something that takes decades to build. But what's significant here is that also, being an American company, I have two questions. One, whether or not the cars made in India will be allowed duty-free into the United States, into the American market, unlike how they're treating the Chinese electric vehicles. Now, the argument, of course, is that, Chinese government subsidizes, so it's really unfair market practice, it's a government subsidy, and so on and so forth. But actually, I think everybody will recognize, everybody who's in the business knows that the Chinese electric vehicles are more efficient, more advanced, cheaper, and because of its market scale, it can create economies of scale. And because it's complete supply chain, it can also take advantage of its good infrastructure to enhance efficiency in the manufacturing process. So it's cheaper, it's better, it's much cheaper, and it's much better. So as a result, it would be impossible for the big three automakers in the US to compete against Chinese product. So you have to block it out with protectionism. The other part that's interesting here is that why the Commerce Department in the US says nothing about this. Why? Because they're claiming there is serious overcapacity in electric vehicles. They should complain to Elon Musk and say, well, there's already overcapacity and oversupply. You shouldn't be building another one, especially in India. Now, this is all quite hypocritical if you look at how U.S. government takes position on this. On the one hand, it talks about green, environmental protection, climate change, and all these things. On the other hand, when you have something that actually does make a difference, electric vehicles, you block its access to the market. You block the ability of consumers to choose more efficient and better made electric vehicles. You clearly is preventing a more widespread adoption of this much better transportation means than the current methods. This is really unfortunate. If consumers really had a choice, had a chance to taste what it's like to drive a Chinese electric vehicle, there will be a storm of sales. I think the current Chinese capacity will have to run 3 shifts to be able to cover the demand of the consumers from all over the world.